many, many years in serving the ray of inspiration that sometimes is called the New Age or metaphysics. It's the heart-opening sort of flow of consciousness across our planet that says we are all one great family. We are all children of spirit. And in the great embrace of her great heart, she has served and supported and invited and promoted different traditions and teachers and books and music for all these many years. Everywhere she goes, including when she goes to Europe on some of her work, she is welcomed as the great friend that she truly is. And so please join me in welcoming Krysta Gibson, the New Spirit Center.
Downstairs, the last thing Herman said to me was, now if you're not good, everybody is going to have vegetables they can throw at you. So I'm relieved to see that you all brought your vegetables up here. Because I said, well, I've got my stick. So I'll just throw them back. Now, some of you may know I'm a writer. I don't know if everybody here is aware of that or not. When I write an article, the way that it happens for me, or when I give a talk, I get the title first, not the subject, but the actual title. And so when Riemann asked me to speak tonight, I said, okay, what am I to talk about? And the title I got was Falling into God. I thought, oh, that's interesting. I love playing on words, so fall into God. Okay, got that. That sounds cool. And God, that's pretty easy because this is a group that doesn't have a lot of problems with that word. As we know, a lot of people have trouble with the word God, and it's because, you know, a lot of us have been raised to think God is this old man in a pink nightie floating around on a cloud somewhere, just waiting for us to do something wrong so he can strike us down with a thunderbolt and send us to hell. But we all know that's not who God is, that God is everything. There's nothing that isn't God. And the reason we know that is because if anything existed outside of God, God wouldn't be God. So for us, we know that it's all God. So falling into God, okay, that's pretty easy. So that would just mean being present in my life, you know, being present with what is and with now, and approaching my daily life with a sense of devotion and caring because everything is God. So I thought, okay, I got that part down, so that's good. Okay, now what about falling? Aha! I am a mini expert on falling, and I just realized sitting there, I have fallen in three different countries. I didn't realize it. I have had several falls over the last few years, and that's why I carry a stick for right now. It's not that I'm trying to be like our masters who carried a stick. What sadhus? No, it's because my doctor said he doesn't want me falling anymore. But I have fallen in Spain, I have fallen in this country, and recently I fell in Canada. So in the lobby of a hotel. So I'm kind of an expert on falling, so I thought, okay, I can talk about falling. So what is falling? What is falling all about? And I thought, okay, there's three parts to falling. Now I'm an expert, so pay attention. The first thing that happens when you start to fall is you lose control. All of a sudden, you're walking along, everything's just fine, and bam, all of a sudden you have absolutely no control, you're going down. Gravity is having its way with you. You are going down. So that starts to happen. When that happens, your stomach turns, jumps into your throat, and absolute fear, because what's going to happen? I'm falling. So the second thing, you can't do anything about it. The only thing that could happen is maybe you could catch on to something and catch yourself, or a person might catch you. Neither of those things happened for me. So you're going down, and the third thing that happens is you land. The floor has somehow managed to come up and hit you in the face. And you lay there for a minute, and if you're somewhere like a hotel lobby, everybody comes running over, gathers around you and says, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And all you can do is say, just give me a minute, I need to gather myself. I've got to get everything together here, and then I'll let you know if I'm okay or not. And then you say, yeah, I'm okay, help me up. It's all good. So those are the three steps to falling. So I thought, okay, so how does that relate to our lives? And I thought about it some more. I thought, I like stories. I love stories. I love to hear the stories of saints and the stories of masters and other people's stories. I love to hear things that work in people's lives and how they have accomplished things. And one of the things I tell my clients that I work with is to record your own stories, especially the stories of your successes. And some people say, well, isn't that ego? I'm just going to get the big head and be proud. I said, no, it's not like that. It's human nature is we tend to go to the negative. I'll bet you right now you can tell me 5 or 6 wonderful stories of how you failed, how you fell on your face. But how many stories are right here about when you succeeded? So one of the things I like to do with my life, and I suggest other people do, is keep track of your successes. So I thought, aha, I have got the perfect story to tell you tonight, where I was taught by the universe about falling into God, falling into life, and I survived. So I'm going to tell you the story. All right, it's 1985, and I was working as the editor for a small monthly newspaper in Point Roberts, Washington. I didn't know what I was doing. I was 9 months into the job. It was kind of the Ananda way. You just do things and kind of learn as you go, right? So I was doing the Ananda way back then. So I'm going along, and all of a sudden I get inner guidance. And I prayed and I meditated at the time I was on my path. And I got guidance one day that I was to quit my job and move to Seattle and start a monthly New Age community newspaper. To which I said, what? And it was repeated. Quit your job, move to Seattle, start a monthly New Age community newspaper. Well, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any money to do that. I was recently divorced. Had maybe enough money to get to Seattle and maybe a month's rent. But after a series of events, I did it. Ended up in Seattle. Started a newspaper. Didn't know anybody. Didn't know what I was doing. And when it came time to print the first issue, I talked to my former printers where I had been working in London, and I said, would you guys give me 30 days credit on my printing bill? Because, I'm just starting out with this. And they said, okay. So I'm going along on my first issue, and it's the day before I'm supposed to go to the printer, and they call me and they say, sorry, you've got to have half down tomorrow. We're not going to give you 30 days. And I was like, well, great. Now what are we going to do? So a new friend I had made loaned me the money. Great. So I'm going along month by month, and every month, it was a real challenge just to put $2 worth of gas in my car, to come up with rent. I really lived on the edge. And I thought, well, how am I going to keep paying the printing bill? So I got behind. Well, one month, the printer called me and he said, Krysta, when you come up this month, you need to bring $1,000 with you. If you don't bring $1,000, we're not printing your paper. Well, it may have been, it may as well have been $20,000. I said, okay, what else can I say? So all month long, here I am, trying to make enough money to eat, trying to make enough money, to pay the rent and to put some gas in the car. And I thought, how am I going to come up with $1,000? Well, I thought I could ask a few people, new friends I had made. They kind of looked at me like I had 3 heads. Like, no, we don't have $1,000 to give you. So it's the night before I'm supposed to go up there. I did not have the $1,000. So I'm upset, and I said, here I've worked all month long. I was kind of mad at the universe at that point, and I was like, okay, you had me quit my job. You had me move down here. I've worked, I've scraped, I did the whole, oh, how dare you do this to me. I've prayed, I've meditated, I have followed my inner guidance, and here I am, and this project's going to die. It's over, it's done with. And I got a resounding silence back from the universe. Nothing, zip. Kind of like, well, who are you? Thanks. So I go to bed that night, get up the next morning real early, drove to Linden, Washington, which is where the printer was. And I thought, well, okay, I have a couple of choices here. I can just give up and say, okay, obviously this was not the right thing to do, because if it was, it'd be working, right? Doesn't everybody have told you if you're on the right path, everything's easy? Or I can go in and I can bake. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go the bake route. Other than that, it was like, I guess I'm going to go get a job at Wendy's or McDonald's or somewhere and, just live my life and chalk it up to experience. So I get there, I get out of my car, I get all my stuff, and this was before computers where we actually had to lay the paper out with wax and do it the old-fashioned way. And I walked in, and the typesetter was sitting there, and I was just kind of, hang dog, and she said, good morning. I said, good morning. And I said, well, I guess, you have my stuff. She said, yeah, I've got it. Nothing happened. And I said, well, I guess, should I get going to the typesetting? And she said, yeah. And I said, is Mike here? And Mike's the one who told me bring $1,000. I said, no, he's not here. I said, well, when is he coming in? Because it was like 6 in the morning. He's not coming in today. What? He's not coming in today. And I said, all day? She said, all day. I said, why? He's playing golf. I said, really? It's okay. So she put her head down. I stood there for a couple of heartbeats thinking, she's not saying anything to me. Huh. So I said, okay. I said, well, I'm going to go on back, lay the paper out, and we'll get it printed, and we'll get on with things. She said, okay. I went to the back. I laid that paper out so fast, you have no idea. Got that puppy printed, threw him in my car. I'm driving back. I-5 to Seattle. Yes! I didn't need the money right then and there. But I didn't know that all month long. What did I do? I worried. I stressed. Up to that moment, but I didn't know that I wasn't going to need the money that day. Now, I did get a phone call the next day from Mike. Krysta, you didn't bring the money. And I said, well, you weren't there. You were playing golf. He said, all right. He said, next month you've got to have $2,000. I said, okay. Well, I was like, okay, I don't know how that's going to happen. Well, that's going to be a story for another time. I did come up with the money. It all worked. The paper grew. It was the New Times, as you all know. It went from there. But the point of this story is, that relates to falling into God, is the way that we fall is that we follow our inner guidance. We do our meditation. We do our work. We approach whatever we're doing with the very best that we can bring. And we stay unattached to the results. You've heard that before, right? Mm-hmm. Me too. You stay unattached to the results. It doesn't mean you don't do what you're doing. And you know that even if things look dark and bleak and terrible, there is a way it's going to work out. Maybe it won't work out the way you'd like it to, but it's going to work out somehow. Because we only see a little tiny part of what's going on in the world or in the universe. How could I possibly have known that that guy would choose that day to go play golf? I could not conceivably have known that. But that was going, he probably didn't know it. But that was going on behind the scenes with the universe. And that's going on with us all the time with our lives. That's falling into God. Living our lives, letting go of control. You're going down, so you may as well just go with gravity and let it happen. Don't fight it. You're going down. On the way down, you may feel fear. That's okay. You're going down. You can't stop it anyway. So go ahead and feel the fear. And then what? You're going to land. And maybe people will come over and say, you're okay. Are you okay? And maybe they won't. Maybe they'll go, get out of my way. You fell in front of me. I'm going to have to walk over you. But when you fall into God, you are going to land. And you are going to be okay. So when you're looking at the things in your life, realize that you don't see everything. You don't see the whole picture. And fall into your life anyway. And have that sense of trust and knowing that you're going to be okay. One of the things I would like to suggest is over the next couple of weeks, you're going to be seeing the word fall and falling a lot. Every time you see or hear that word, let it be a touchstone to you. And you'll go, oh yeah, fall into God. Don't fall into savings, fall into your new car, fall into whatever they tell you to fall into. Go, no, I'm going to fall into God. I'm going to fall into the everythingness of my life. And I'm going to totally let go. And I'm going to trust